Hello everyone, welcome here. We're going to talk about equipment. Equipment is very important because it's the pre-preparation of you going out and battle. Having the wrong equipment can be fatal towards you, and we'll see that on the next lesson when I talk about factions. What are the pluses and minuses? But right now, I want to talk about equipment for the faction I have, which is Swadia. So you just press escape, choose equipment, and on the left side you see all kind of armor. On the right side it'll mostly be your offensive or damage output, so weapons and stuff. Let's talk about the armor first. It's gonna be a longer video, so hang in there guys, but it's really keen that you understand what's happening and what to choose from. Um, you got your reset to default. That is usually if I pick something it'll change back. Don't I never ever use that button at all, but it's nice that it's there. Okay, so you have three main hitboxes in Warband. You got your legs, your armor, and your head armor. You also have gloves, but I'll come back to that a little later on. Your main important thing is armor right here. You want to get that as high as possible as you can. Because usually when you're fighting somebody, they'll not aim anywhere on those three hitboxes. They usually just try to bypass your shield and try to get you just a hit, and they're not gonna look where the hit is. If they get a hit, they're happy. And because if you look at my character right here, I'd say around 60% is definitely my body. So that's why I want to have a huge investment in this area. Some servers, well, most servers start out with 1,000 gold. This one is 10,000, but just imagine it with me that you have 1,000 gold. So what we want to do is, like, within the gold that we have, spend it as well as possible. In Warband, you really want to spend every single dime you have, every single dinner. So a standard build that Swadians usually go for is for the red gambeson. The headgear would be the helmet with neck guards, some gloves, and then the rest will fill up on this side. Um, Actually, I might just take it for so you can see the gold. Okay, without the gloves. Alright, so this gives us 978, which is we got a few dinner left on 1,000 gold. And that would be really good if you could spend it like this. A horrible spend would be this, for example, because you still got over 150 gold left right there. So you definitely want to upgrade. So armor is the biggest one. You could also drop back, say, take really crappy stuff on the side here. Can go for this armor, which has loads and loads more of body armor. As you can see, it's almost double, but it costs a lot. And then we can fill up maybe with a helmet, but then you'll have almost no money to spend on your damage output. So this is also a setup that people go for if they really want to be tanky. But keep in mind, you got a horrible shield, it'll break super fast, and then you're really counting on your manual blocking, which we haven't covered yet. So that's why people tend to drop back to this one. Let's talk about helmets as well, and I'm talking general, so this applies to every single class. Helmets, a thing I discovered through playing is that 30 head armor is my personal minimum, because anything below 30, if you get headshot or stabbed from a horse in the head and you don't have, well, you have 28 head armor, for example, usually they'll end up being in a one-hit kill. And so everything you spent so far will all just perish because you chose a really crappy helmet. If you have 30 plus, then chances are that you can survive it. Sometimes you still get one hit kill. That happens. But the chances are that you're gonna survive it. So 30 is my personal minimum, and that goes for every single class, except a few that really just can't afford it from first start. And as for boots, when you're fighting, and I wish I had someone near me now. When you're fighting, and people don't look all the way down and try to go for your boots, they don't do that. The only reason why you would upgrade your boots or choose to go for bigger boots is if you have this kind of shield, for example. You see that you have like a little V shape at the bottom right there, and so my back foot right there is very vulnerable to being shot from archers, and so that's why you would upgrade it. If you have like a V-shaped shield, or if you're a Nord, you have a round shield, which is pretty body protecting but not foot protecting. That's when you gotta go for the foot armor. But it's not that important because there are not that many players that can really get like past that and really get those shots in. So I, I kind of leave this one, like the boots, as last upgrades. And as for the gloves, they don't actually protect your hands. You would think so. When you parry or swing out, that you could get cut in your hand. That is not true in Warband. The Warband, it adds up to the body armor. So you see here we got plus 21 body armor, and when we go to the gloves, you see that it goes plus the body armor as well. So it just adds up to your whole body, not only to your hands. Um, this is I sometimes I take leather gloves, but I don't see many players, and especially not in competitive, go further than leather gloves because you're paying 350 from 90 for two more armor. So that's a lot of gold that you have to spend just to get two more armor. Whilst if you try to save up a little bit for armor here, you just go plus 20, boom, and that is massive. That is really big. So these two are really optional. Just if you see that the enemy has a lot of archers, then go for boots upgrade. Um, and also for the helm upgrade rather than your body. If you see that you're just pure in an infantry fight, then you don't pretty much don't have to look at these two and just go for like a 30 plus. So any of these helmets and keep on upgrading that armor. You want to have the maximum of that as infantry of every single faction. There's also another aspect that comes to play. There's a weight on every single thing that you buy. So the more you upgrade, the heavier you become. And if someone goes completely naked, I won't do it now. They can run super fast, and if you go really like tanked up, like have 19 weight here and 2.8, and then another 3 right here, and another 1, that is gonna be heavy. So when he is running away, and like usually archers kind of do that because they're really lightweight, they can outrun you. And so they just run, jump, shoot you, run, jump, shoot you. And you're like that heavy tank that's just trying to chase it, so you can't get there. It's really important to keep that in mind. Some armors are nice upgrades, but then again, they are super heavy. As a personal choice, I tend to ignore the weight, especially when you start out. You can really tend to ignore that weight as you're just trying to figure out how the mechanics are working. Alright, so let's go over to our offensive side. On our offensive side, um, sometimes in some factions, uh, you get multiple options. Like Swadia has loads and loads of options. All these are one-handed, all these are two-handed, all these are your spears, spikes, and polearms, and for every faction they'll usually be lined up in this category. So top line one-handed, second line two hand and so forth. Shields you can upgrade as well. At the bottom of some factions, you got javelins or darts or whatever throwing weapon you can buy. Um, it all comes down to preference. But as I said before, when you're starting out, your shield is probably going to be your main concern because you want to stay alive as long as you can. So you really want to invest in that. Now, what is a good investment and what isn't? If you look at Swadian swords, you just have to, for each faction, you have to stand still and just look at every single thing. So I see a swing of 27 and a thrust of 22. This is a free sword. Now, if I look for 121 more gold, I get a swing of 26 and a thrust of 24. So if I'm doing a thrust, then I would get a benefit. But this is a swing, this is a swing, and this is a swing. And so therefore, I really wouldn't get a benefit out of it, and I would have spent 121 gold that I can really spend here on one of the other things on the attributes. Now, if you do decide to go for the sword upgrades, then you can see that going from 20, the next sword up, is actually not that much more gold. And that might be worth investing. I prefer to play with this one as well because you get not much out of it though. You get +1 in swing and +1 in thrust, and that's it. So I'll spend almost 200 on one more damage. And in game, like if you know that some people can really like one hit kill you, that one damage of 200 gold is pretty much not worth the investment. And once again, that can go to saving up for better armor here. So if we go on and look further, we kind of notice that there's weight as well. And weight as a factor that places upon stunts. We'll come back to that in advanced, I believe. But the more weight you have on your sword, the more damage it does on shields. Because if your shield is, for example, a weight 2 and you got a weight 2.8 weapon right here, if you smack that shield, it'll really like the person who gets it will get a little bit stunned and it will really break super fast as well because of yeah, the weight and the damage output. So weight is kind of an attribute that adds towards the damage, while it doesn't really directly say that it has that much damage. So yeah, so that's how you pick your weapons. Now, as Swadia, so as you've seen, 200 for one more damage, is that really worth taking? Experiment with it. If you take a free sword, for example, you free up money and you can change up for a better helmet. Once again, this I wouldn't do because this is like 50 gold more for just one more armor, which is a waste of money. Just save up for this one then. Shields, really important. The heavier you go, the more weight it is. So it lasts longer. As you can see, the resistance goes up to 19 here instead of 6. So it lasts longer. That's your durability. But it'll be a little slower. You got a speed rating at the bottom right there. And that is pretty much if you do the hit block, like let's say hit and I want to cancel, that's the speed I'm canceling it with. So that's your shield speed coming in right there. It really isn't that much of a difference I've noticed in game. But if you go like against top tier players, they really can benefit from you having a speed rate of 87 compared to 96. But if you take this shield, they'll just break it real fast. So you gotta find a balance in that. Once again, gold is a big attribute. As a beginner, take a better shield. And if you look right here, you go up 74. Okay, that's not that much. This is almost 200. You can save it out from your sword right here. Then you go for a little bit more resistant here. You go up 100 all of a sudden. So yeah, is this one really worth taking then, for example? Like that's what you gotta weigh out. I've played with all sorts, all shields, all weapons, and I've just tried to figure it out on myself. Um, Same goes with all bikes. You just want to like see the length of it by see it on weapon reach, how far they can reach out, and just try to figure it out for yourself. If I go into battle with 1,000 gold, then usually you don't get the first round when you start playing this game. But this is about the speed that I go to when I join a game. There you go. So I've selected all my things, and I can only do this by experimenting a lot and just I kind of memorize where everything is located at. So yeah, that'll be it for this tutorial. Think about taking different gear. Don't always take the same stuff. If you always take the same stuff, you end up in a little cycle. And then, for example, if you have 3 archers against you and you don't have any darts like me at the moment, I can do nothing at all because I cannot go ranged. All my play is based on close combat right now. So look what the enemy is doing. Adapt. If they have a lot of cav instead of an old bike, spend more money into a long old bike because your reach is way longer. Um, Cancel out this and try to maybe go for lower armor or so that when they come close by you really stand alert, and just be very adaptive to what classes they have and try to base your money on that. And the only way you can do this is not by watching tutorials but going game and changing up your gear. So I hope this kind of gives you value for what you should be picking. Most servers go with 1,000 gold. That's another thing I want to emphasize. Um, if you have 1,000 gold, try to go to show game rules, and it should say what your starting gold is. So if your starting gold is 1,200 or something, then you can buy more and just go to your 1,000 gold basics and click something really ridiculously more, like let's say 90 gloves. So I'm already over my 1,000, and I don't know, let's say here this is about 60 as well, so that'll be, yeah, 1199. There you go. So that's 1,200, and then click done and you're ready to go. So that'll be your basic gear on that specific server. um so yeah, once again, sorry that it took that long, but it's really essential that you take the right parts. Also keep on adapting to whatever the people are playing on the server. That's what gear you kind of want to have. And yeah, there you go.